Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with a terrific lady who's a parent coach, licensed professional counselor in Idaho, also trainer, speaker, and also adoption expert, and worked with at-risk kids for 20 plus years. She utilizes a boots on the ground approach, helping parents navigate very difficult situations, especially during these times in their home as issues occur. And of course, they're using a parent controlled approach or parent centered. And she's also very passionate about bringing her hope and healing for traumatized, based, abandoned, abused, and neglected children, and also struggling and misunderstood kids, especially in today's society. She's also got 3 books, which is part of the Keyton series, and also has a website which involves healthy foundations and upcoming parenting book. So for you parents out there with children who are having some troubles, you may want to listen up here. Live, ladies and gentlemen, plus studios in beautiful downtown Boise, Idaho, the amazing parent coach, licensed professor, counselor in Idaho, and also the author of the Keyton series, and also healthyfoundations.co with parenting tips and more. Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Dr. Michelle Alden. Dr. Michelle, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to have you on board as well, too. So you're a parent coach and licensed professional counselor in Idaho. You're a trainer, speaker, and adoption expert, worked with at-risk kids for 20 plus years, utilize a boots on the ground approach, helping parents navigate very difficult situations. And you're also passionate about bringing hope and healing to traumatized, abused, neglected, abandoned children, also struggling and misunderstood kids. You also have 3 books from the Keyton series. You have Southern Blend from the Inside Out, and also your 3rd book, which is recent, A Soft Place to Land. You also have an upcoming parenting book. You're also the founder and the website healthyfoundations.co. And it's not British, by the way, if you want to wonder about that. And before getting to all that, Dr. Michelle, tell us how you first got started.
Well, I got started really working in the adoption field, always interested in families and parenting. I was an adopted kid out of foster care. I was 6.5 when I was adopted.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember even when I was around 12 years old, reading parenting books that my mom had on the shelf, wanting to work with troubled kids and challenges. It's been kind of a lifelong passion. And then as I raised my own kids, I'm also a mom and an adoptive parent, and started working with kids in a nonprofit organization at first, and just really wanted to help people understand about the behaviors and how to interact with the kids in a different way to really impact the most changes that could happen. And I went into counseling, got my master's in counseling because I wanted to help more with the families rather than being on the outside of that and just working with the kids and wanting to just be in there, especially the families that were in crisis. So I started Healthy Foundations, started working with a lot of adoptive families and seemingly regular families as well, and started developing the Healthy Foundations Family Program, which is a 90-day program that we use in Idaho. Well, we use it everywhere, but in Idaho, the Medicaid pays for the program to be used. And so parents can access this 90-day program through their Medicaid, and we go into the homes and help them parent through some pretty challenging challenges, difficult situations.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the challenges that you normally face, and how about some of the most more abnormal, more challenging situations?
Yeah, some of the hardest ones, just a lot of kids with mental health disorders. It might start out as, attention deficit, ADHD, oppositional defiance, and but most of the kids that have some pretty extreme behaviors, they're unsafe, they're violent, they're aggressive, they can be very young or they can be teenagers, and they're explosive, kind of the way they react to sometimes even the smallest thing. The parents just often don't know what to do. They're looking for help, and something to change. Otherwise, the kids can't stay in the home because they're basically unsafe.
Mm-hmm. And what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career?
I started working with adoptive families, and I started finding families that they were looking at maybe having to disrupt the adoption or send the kids out of the home. And I knew that with the attachment challenges with the kids, that was going to be devastating for them in their lives. And so I had a family that was actually working with me and trying to figure out what to do. And I said, I think we need a program where we go into the home and I can help you right as things are happening. Because the kids would come to my office and they were fine. They know how to do the therapy thing. We would play games and talk, and they would tell me everything was fine. And the parents were like, everything is not fine.
Oh yeah,
And
I understand that. Yes, I'd say one thing and they do another. I know how that goes.
yeah. And I knew enough about adoption and attachment challenges and the things that kids say. And, so I was leaning more on, what the parents were telling me. And so we started putting together kind of all of the things I had researched about, behaviors and helping kids through behaviors, and just really became passionate about teaching the parents what they could actually do instead of, expecting the counselor to do it, or the medication, or the doctor, or somebody else to fix it.
Mm-hmm. And what percentage would you say that the families where you're at or throughout the state, pretty much have adopted kids? What percentage would you say of that be?
At first it was about 50-50 on the families I was working with that were adopted. Now that Medicaid is funding the program, it's any kids with mental health issues, which can be ADHD. So it doesn't have to, it might not be, most people just think it's a behavior issue. They don't necessarily think it's a mental health issue, but I kind of get both. So I do the program, the 90-day program, and one-on-one parent coaching, full-time. I don't see anybody in the office now. We're basically doing the program and working to be able to help more people with that.
Mm-hmm. And do you think the economy today also has to do with more about the adoption, how kids behave, parents, and everything else? Do you think that's also taking factor? Maybe the same, create more stress or anything like that?
I think that we've definitely seen an increase in the behaviors, and we're often wondering why. Is it because we're just getting harder and harder cases, or is it really getting worse? And we recently hired someone new on our staff that's also a teacher, and she said, oh no, since COVID, since the kids have come back into school, they're emotionally behind and they're unable to handle a lot of things that kids could handle before. And then it's just a whole different dynamic. I think this is kind of where we get into where I really believe we have a parenting crisis. Parents don't know what to do. And so, kids might start off having somewhat, abnormal, or, maybe just a little bit off behaviors. And then it just tends to escalate when no one knows what to do.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you also said too, there's a parenting crisis in America, and we cover that a bit. We also get more into that too. And what do parents think? What do parents do? And of course, are they struggling with behaviors and everything else? And that's all part of healthyfoundations.co. She also had a couple of books on the Keyton Series. We'll talk about that with Dr. Michelle Alden. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those who love to be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Zia has got great reviews. And Eve 11 endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and Nails. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, over 40 podcast platforms, heard in 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and also heard on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Also on Buzzsprout, Pandora, and also with LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, BitChute, and Rumble more. Make sure you take us with any mobile device. Don't forget to subscribe as well. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia. Check it out today. I'll support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with parent coach, licensed professional counselor in Idaho, Dr. Michelle Alden, here on the Mike Wagner Show, founder and runs a website, healthyfoundations.co. She also has a Keyton Series featuring 3 books, including Southern Blend, From the Inside Out, A Soft Place to Land, and of course, you talked about this parenting crisis in America, and of course, you also have here about all these how-to programs, how to control things. It's from a child center, but you do it from like a parent-centered approach, and Tell us the difference about that, parent-centered and child-centered, and how you came about it.
Yeah, I started noticing that a lot of like the school setting and even in mental health, children's mental health, that the focus was really focused on getting services for the child, trying to help the child learn how to manage their behavior, giving the child coping skills. And this can be with teens too, even the idea of sending them somewhere else where they're going to learn better coping skills and things like that. And then the like I said, things would happen in the office and it was very, like not that bad. And so then you start looking at the parents. I feel like a lot of us and them, right? Like the schools looking at the parents and thinking if their parents were better parents, the parents may be looking at the school and thinking if the school would do this, or if they saw what we're dealing with. And same thing with the counselor. A lot of parents were telling me, they've been in counseling and it's not helping, or the counselor, just thinks that we're doing this wrong or that wrong as parents. So to me, being parent focused is giving the parents the tools so that they can parent their child, so that they can help their child through the different things that kids go through. It doesn't mean that we never need outside help or need, coaching or professionals, but at the same time, I think that we should be able to grow up in our families, and families should be able to help us get through different things that we go through. That's, I feel like, is best designed. I think it works better that way. So we really focus on helping the parents. The other part where that really came into play is John Bowlby is was an attachment therapist kind of early on. And I don't necessarily agree with everything in attachment theory, but he said that if we care about children, that we must cherish their parents. And I love that, because I really think it's true. If we really, it can't be an us and them. We're, the neighbor down the street that's not having any problem with your kid when they come over, that's great, but that's not everything. We need the parents to be able to handle things at home. And so that's where I think the difference is. I really listen to what the parents are telling me and try to go from there. So,
and it sounds to me that the parent centered approach seems to work, from what I'm gathering, because it takes a lot of pressure off of teachers, counselors, administration, or even enforcement as well, too. Just takes the pressure off.
Yeah, we get a lot of referrals from different counselors and schools and other mental health workers that are trying to help the kids, because we know, like, if things are stable at home, it's going to be better everywhere else. The kids are going to be able to learn at school. They're going to be able to make friends and have that more positive social interactions. So we start at home first. We get things stable there first.
Mm-hmm. And then how can the parents be the example as well too? It's just like they say the best parents are the best change agent for their home and building a bridge. How can the parents be like the best bridge? And what are some of the examples that parents need to do to set a good example for the kids?
Yeah, we use the bridge analogy a lot. So what we tell parents is we want to help you from where you are right now, build a bridge to where you want your family to be. And a lot of families that come to me to come to Healthy Foundations have lost some of their hope of having the kind of family that they wanted to have. This when you have kids with really extreme behaviors and challenges, it's not fun, and the joy of parenting is like, what was that? We forgot all about that years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not even having forced family fun. We're not having fun at all. So I help them to first, really we go over what's happening in the home right now. And then we have different skills and tools that I give the parents that we consider kind of stones that are going to go on their bridge to building a better future for what they want it to look like. It doesn't, we cannot build that bridge completely for them. The parents need to do it too, but we also talk about what they want it to be. So we keep those goals in mind of what they want their family to be like. And the first thing that we do is really empower the parents that this is your family. It may have been taken over by this 11-year-old kid, but it's your family, and you can be the parent, and you can take that back, and we can start building some stones and on this bridge and give you the tools to be able to do that. So a lot of it early on is just building that structure in the family. Sometimes structure has just kind of gone out the window. People are really busy. They're just kind of trying to get from one thing to the next. So we build some routines and some structure, and that creates safety. Safety is huge. We can't go forward if things are unsafe at home. And so that's a big piece of it. We want the kids to know that the parents are strong enough and able to keep them safe, even from themselves, because no kid feels good about the behavior that they're doing either.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Since safety is a priority one, especially in the home and anywhere these days, safety is number one. What are some of the other tips and tricks you would give to your parents right now at this point? You don't necessarily have to do all of them. Safety is first. What are some of the other few tips and tricks you can offer to parents right now?
Yeah, so the big part of building that safety is the structure. And then a big tool that we help parents with is called co-regulation. So if everybody's upset and anxious, and most of the kids I work with, no matter what their diagnosis is, it's probably 100% of anxiety in the kids, and that kind of filters down to everyone else in the family. Pretty anxious. Sometimes even the dogs in the house are very anxious.
I know what you mean when it comes to dogs. Like, they're always part of family. My dog is like that too. Even the cats can feel it too, or mice, birds, rat, whatever it is, even the goldfish.
Yeah. So we really work on helping the parents teach the parents how to get calm and to help their kids to get calm, rather than just telling the kids to go to their room till they calm down. We encourage parents to bring kids in closer, which may seem like a real paradigm shift when you have kids that are aggressive. But what I find is if you just push them away and put them in their room, they're going to be more destructive in their room, and more aggressive, because they're pulling you back in to the struggle. So they'll do the thing that gets you to come to their room. So we work in having parents move in closer, and then getting calm and helping the child to co-regulate first with the parent, instead of expecting them to just use their coping skills that they may have learned at the hospital or in counseling. We teach the parents to do that and to get calm. So that's a big piece of what we do at first in creating that safety. There are other one of the other tips that I can give your listeners right now that is kind of a magic thing. It sounds really simple, and you may have parents that say, oh, we tried that, or we don't like that, or it didn't work. But if you stay with it, it really does work. And it is really simple. It's just teaching your kids to give a good response. So when you direct your child to do something, then the expectation is that your child is going to say, yes, mom, or yes, dad. I prefer yes, mom, yes, dad versus yes, sir, yes, ma'am. But some of my families, especially in the South or other places, the kids prefer yes, ma'am, yes, sir. In our society, we don't require this as much as we used to. It actually changes the brain. If there's what I call impulsive negativity in the kids that I work with. And so their first response is, I don't want to, or no, or I'm not going to. And when you get a good response, a yes, mom, or a yes, dad, it actually changes the neural pathway in the brain to a more positive action. So it's like more likely the child is going to do it because they gave that response. It's more likely that they actually heard what the parent said. And then the parent has to be very clear also. If a parent is saying, well, did you want to do this, or did you want to do that? Then, you might not get the response that you want. So it helps. It's a little social language technique and tool that we use that is super powerful. And it's something that people can start working on right away. I found that it's helped me in my life to give better responses too, So.
It's really interesting. You talk about some of the families, some of the issues you go through. What about those that have PTSD, either the mom or dad or both of them, or like say the children? How would you handle families with those that have, or one of them or all that have PTSD?
Yeah, almost all the families that I work with that have trauma, there's PTSD in the kids a lot of times, but there's also in the parents too. We're all kind of triggered by what's happening in the moment. So part of the benefit of having a parent coach there or helping, you work through these tools is that in the moment we kind of slow things down so that, I help the adults to get to be the calmest heart rates in the room and to slow things down and think things through to what's really happening. Do we have to react, or can we wait and respond? So slowing things down and structuring things helps a lot with that. It calms the anxiety down in everybody when someone has a plan. So.
And certainly does as well too. You also have some books from the Keyton series, and one of them is Southern Blend, just having families come together from the inside out. And you also have A Soft Place to Land, which is basically just security. Also an upcoming parenting book. We'll talk about the Keyton series with Dr. Michelle Alden. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundWeb Studios, and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Missing. We'll be back with parenting coach, licensed professional counselor in Idaho, Dr. Michelle Alden of healthyfoundations.co after this time. We're back with Dr. Michelle Alden of healthyfoundations.co here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we wrap up with your website as well, too, how people contact you, you're also an author of the Keyton series featuring a Southern Blend, From the Inside Out, and also A Soft Place to Land. And of course, tell us much about your books, especially, kids are looking for a soft place to land. Am I right?
Yeah, so that series of books is it's the Keyton family. The first book, Southern Blend, is kind of their story. This family, blended family, comes together, and then the second book, From the Inside Out, is they adopt two boys from foster care, and all of it has a lot of family therapy ideas in it. It's kind of they're fun stories to read, all three of them. The third one ties in the other two. The boys are older and going through some more of the teen things. They're fictional. They're my fictional family that I was developing and working with while I was actually going through grad school. So I was getting a chance to use some of my ideas in this fictional family. It's kind of best case scenario. Like if everybody was able to do everything in a really effective ways, this is what would I mean, this is the ideal of what would happen. So it may not only be a little bit fictional, maybe a little bit fantasy for some of our families, but it's got a lot of really good ideas in it. They're fun books. So.
And it do sound like a lot of fun as well too. And of course, what else do you offer through your website, healthyfoundations.co? You talk about your services, you talk about some of the parenting tips. What are some of the other things you also offer through your website?
Yeah, so through the website, parents can take a quiz to find out if they have a challenging child, and also every single month we have a parenting course that anybody can take, and that course is 4 hours long. They get a workbook. They get access to our videos. They can get access to one-on-one parent coaching. We also are developing different groups of parent coaching with groups of parents with similar issues or age kids, so they can sign up for that. There's also, we have 2 packages where they can do the in-home program. So the in-home program is 90 days. If you're having extreme behavior safety issues, we recommend doing the program where they actually would come to Boise. We do 4 days intensive, working with their family for 4 days, and then do the 12 weeks of the program following that. Otherwise, they can do the basic package where they just sign up and do the 12 weeks of the program. In that program, they get every day for the first 30 days, they get a video from me, and then they get weekly one-on-one coaching videos and the support group help. Those are the packages that we have there. They can also, through the website, access, I have a YouTube channel, Healthy Foundations, where they can watch the parenting videos, get parenting tips, get support. And then I will, in July, have a book coming out, a parenting book that will explain a lot of the things that we've talked about today. We've covered really well today some of those things. It will be called Parenting Emotionally Distressed Kids, Build a Bridge to Better Behavior the Healthy Foundations Way.
And where can we find all your works at and your books?
At healthyfoundations.co.
Okay, we'll certainly check that out along with the Keyton series as well. We're here with Dr. Michelle Alden of healthyfoundations.co here on the Mike Wagner Show. And just a few more things. What else can we expect from you in 2023 and beyond, Dr. Michelle?
Well, I'm also starting a podcast. So the book, getting the book out is a big piece of it. We're going to have a podcast called the Parenting Bridge. That should be up and running really soon, I think in the next couple of weeks. And that'll have some of our videos and live things on that, and we'll have some guests as well that are other parenting experts, and then just the main thing that I'm really developing this year is helping more people across the United States that want help with parenting. I think that sometimes we think that we should just know what to do as parents, and I really believe that we have to be intentional, and that it's not innate, especially when you have kids with challenges, and a lot of kids have challenges right now. A statistic that I read, and this was pretty like on the low end of what there was one that read that 1 in 4 kids has a mental health diagnosis before they're 17. 1 in 4, but the one that was more reasonable, I guess, was 1 in 7, which is still, they're saying like 1 in 7 kids before they're 17. So take the quiz, the challenging child quiz, and you'll kind of see, like, this is what we're saying, like, is what is needs a diagnosis.
Or something has to change without medication or anything like that. I'm sure there'll be a way. Dogs also help too. I gotta say that. So
yeah, they can if they're not so freaked out.
That's right. And we can all attest to all dog lovers out there. And also, just a couple of things. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I'm sorry. Who do you consider your biggest influence in your career?
Oh, I have some real heroes in this field. One is Dr. Dave Ziegler that started Jasper Mountain. He's a hero of mine, and what he's done to help parents with he wrote a book called Raising kids who refuse to be raised. That's such an excellent title.
Nice. I'll have to check
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah, Bruce Perry is another favorite, Dr. Bruce Perry. And then Dr. Ron Federici is a friend and colleague of mine that does a lot of evaluations for some of my kids. And he just really understands the trauma aspect of what our kids have gone through and what that has done to their brain. So,
Okay. That sounds really interesting. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
that you have to be intentional, not to be afraid to get help, and that it can always get better. And we want you to experience that too, that it can get better.
Okay, we'll certainly do that, including the parents as well. We're here with Dr. Michelle Alden of the Parenting Coaching Licensed Professional Counselor of HealthyFoundations.co and the Mike Widener Show. Dr. Michelle, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. Once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your works, including the books?
So our website is healthyfoundations.co, and our podcast that will be coming out will be called The Parenting Bridge. The book will be called Parenting Emotionally Distressed Kids. And but the best place to find out about us and learn more is to go to the website, take the quiz, and read all about the stuff that we're doing.
We will certainly check that out. Once again, Dr. Michelle, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. Wish you all the best. And Dr. Michelle, you've got a great future ahead of you.
Thank you.